Hey guys, welcome to your next video. This one is on representing linear relationships using a graph table and equation and a word problem. So go ahead and make sure you write down your objective and essential question. Once you're done with that, go ahead and write down this quick word problem and pause the video to do so. Alright, now that you've written down the word problem and the essential question and objective, we're actually going to move on to looking at this word problem and kind of dissecting it. So it says a bicycle rental company charges $18 to rent a bicycle plus $7 for every 2 hours of rental time. So I want you to underline a couple things. First thing would be charges $18 to rent a bike. So that's just an $18 flat rate. And then $7 for every 2 hours. So that's $7 for every 2 hours. So we'd have to figure out what it is for 1 hour. So we will eventually have to figure out what it is for 1 hour. So let's start by looking at a table, okay? So we have our table right here. Go ahead and draw a quick table. And our x-axis and our y-axis are on here, or our x values and our y values. So our x will actually be our hours rented, and then our y is actually our cost. Okay, so this would be our x, and this would be our y. So we're just going to simply fill this in. So if we rented this bike for 0 hours, if I just went up to this bicycle rental company and said, I want a bike, and then I returned it 5 minutes later, I would still be charged this $18. The reason for that is because it's $18 just to rent the bike and then $7 for every 2 hours. So the cost for 0 hours rented is still $18. Now let's say I rented it for 2 hours. Okay, I still have that $18, but then it's $7 for 2 hours. So I'm actually adding $7 on here. So this $7 would actually be, or this $18 would actually be increased by 7. So you would just do 18 plus 7, which comes out to 25. Okay, and then if I rented the bike for 4 hours, I would do the same thing. 25 plus 7 would come out to 32. Okay, and then if I rented it for 6 hours, exact same thing. 32 plus 7 come out to 39. Okay, and then one more time, plus 7 for 39 plus 7 for 8 hours, that would come out to 46. So this is the amount of dollars you spend, okay? And this is the amount of hours you rent the bike. So if I were to graph this on a graph, what I would be looking for first is where does the y-intercept at? Where's the y-intercept? So remember, our y-intercept in our equation of y equals mx plus b is actually the b. So where is our b at? It is where x equals 0 on a table. So right here is our y-intercept, or our b. Okay? So that's 18. So we automatically know our graph is going to start at 18, right here, right below 20. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just do the best you can to find 18 on your graph. So now we would just fill these in as x and y points on a graph like a coordinate, right? So we have 2 and 25. So we go 2 and then we go right here to 25. And once again, I know since you don't have graph paper, it's not going to be perfect, but just do the best you can. Okay, then we're going to go to 4, and we're going to do 32. So 4 would be right around here. And then 6 is 39. Okay, 8 is 46. So that would be right about here. And then 10, if I were to extend this a little further, 10 would actually be, so we'd add 7 more to this. So let's just go ahead and add one more on here and let's see what it is. So 10, so 46 plus 7. And I want you to plot that 10 by yourself here, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and draw a graph. So make sure you do fill in this y for the cost of what it would cost for 10 hours to rent the bike, okay? So now we're just going to draw this line. We're just going to connect this line, okay? All these dots will make a line. So we're going to connect all these dots, make a line, and this goes on forever, okay? So it's a straight line. It goes on forever. And now we need the equation. So I know that you know that the b is where the y-intercept is, and that's where x equals 0 on a table. So we already know that our b is 18. Okay? We need to figure out what the m is, because in our equation, the x will stay there. So what is our m? M is our slope. M is how much it increases for every one x, okay? So we have... Okay, so it's actually the change in y over the change in x, right? So if I were to divide the change in y over the change in x, we know that it increases 7 every time on the y-axis. It increases 2 every time on the x, right? So we would just simply divide 7 by 2. And that would be 3.5. So now our slope is 3.5. Okay, so our equation looks like this. Y equals 3.5x plus 18.